Welcome dear friends. We are going to discuss today DSpace customization and backup restore processes. So, till now we have discussed about the various aspects of implementing institutional digital repository, and this video sessions will help you for the implementing and the following the process of a proper DSpace management and implementation. So, till now we have gone through some item upload, and we have seen the modifications of controlled vocabulary. We have seen the implementation of metadata schema, those input forms which are not available in DSpace, we have implemented that. We are if we want, we can implement the learning resource schemas. So, now the one of the very important thing which comes to the user's mind, and that is search and retrieval. That means, whenever we give a query in DSpace, it gives me the search result. Till now it gives me the search result based upon my query. So, and those query are being searched in various metadata fields of DSpace. But suppose, for example, I have uploaded a OCR content, we have digitized a document, and that digitized document is present as a OCR content. That means that characters are readable. So, or we are uploading a document which is a bond digital document. So, the first and foremost thing which comes to anybody's mind, that will I be able to search content within search any text within the DSpace within the content what I am uploading into the DSpace, and this kind of search are being termed as the full text search. That means, when I have uploaded a document, the text should be searchable. So, we will go through some commands, easy commands are available in DSpace, which will convert the whole text whatever document we have uploaded, that documents text will be present along with the DSpace. So, whenever we give a search, it will search within the document. So, that means it will filter out many things and will try to give us a appropriate result. So, let us see. So, today's objective is full text search and customizing the IDR. After that we will go through some AIPA and SIP commands, and we will try to learn what are the importance of this, and we will see metadata harvesting and theory and practice. So, when we are searching a full text, the DSpace provide us many commands, and for customizing I will modify some of the files of DSpace, and will show you where the files are available, and so that you can put your own text, and this AIP, SIP and metadata harvesting, these are broadly a type of backup and restore process. So, I have given two commands. These two commands are very much important. One is create administrator. Suppose many times it happens that we forget the administrator password, or we want to create a new administrator for the DSpace. So, how can I do that? So, there is a command, that is create administrator command. Using that I can create a new administrator in my DSpace, and we will go through filter media command, which will enable us to create a full text document and full text we can search, and then we will update the DSpace news, and some more updates we will do. So, these three are, first we will try to see this. So, welcome to my DSpace repository. For yesterday also I have shown you some of the items I have uploaded here. Now, suppose for example, I am uploading a document I am trying to upload a new document here. And I have filled up the basic metadata information and I am going to the next, and I quickly move to my upload file upload part. I grant the license and complete the submission. Yes. So, this is the recent submission what I have made, that is DSpace controlled vocabulary, that is the title. Now, if I have already I was showing this file, and there are some content. Let me see. So, suppose there is a text which is available like metadata or controlled vocabulary, this is more relevant to the thing, and I give a search. So, it is not searching that PDF document what I have, or PPT document what I have uploaded just now, it is not searching that information, because controlled vocabulary, that terminology is not available in any one of my place. Although controlled, this word is available in the title. So, when I give controlled, it searches my document as this controlled word is available in the title, but when I give controlled vocabulary, it is not searching that. So, how to do that? So, I will connect, I have already made the connection. So, there is a command that is DSpace filter media. So, this is the path of the DSpace installation file folder, that is DSpace_inst, under which I will be getting a bin folder. Actually, bin is that folder where all the commands are available. So, it is a very common file for Linux. In Linux type file structure, mostly bin are the folder where we keep the commands, all the command files or executables are available in bin folder. So, similarly for in the DSpace installation, there is a bin folder, and in the bin folder there is the DSpace command, and it works with a filter media parameter. So, I run this command. So, see, as soon as I run this command, it is already creating all the files, it is indexing it, and my schema pptx file is also been indexed. Now, I go back to my DSpace, I just refresh it for once and I give the search again. See, when I have given the search again, it is fetching that information. That means, it is able to, now it is able to search all the information based upon my document, and whatever text is present inside the document, those are getting searched here. So, this is the full text search operation for a DSpace. Now, as I have already discussed that I want to create an administrator, because this is a command based. For e-persons, you can create the e-person from the GUI also. There are commands for creating e-person also. So, let us see this command for once. So, again it is the same. I have, in my case, I have given the complete path of the command, that is, it is present in DSpace installation, it is present in home of DSpace user, and there is a folder idr, and inside that there is DSpace underscore inst file, a folder, and inside that again the bin folder and the DSpace command. So, DSpace command now takes a parameter, that is create administrator. As soon as I give this, it tells me to give a email address. So, now I give the email address, I give a dummy email address at the rate, I give it something like admin at the rate library dot first name, I give it as library admin. Password, I keep the password as DSpace 123. And one thing to notice here, when you are going to create a administrator or when you are typing password for DSpace here, it will not show any asterisk or anything. It will, you will think as if it is not taking any typing is not getting typed. So, do not get confused, it is I tell it to everyone that it do not displays anything on screen, but that input is going. So, I have given the password as DSpace 123 and it tells me whether the data is correct or not. I put it as yes. So, it shows me administrator account created. So, now the administrator account is admin at the rate library dot irtkgp dot ac dot in. So, let me try. I log out and again I try to log in. Now, I put it as admin. So, admin at the rate library dot irtkgp dot ac dot in and I give the password as. So, as soon as I have given the password as DSpace 123, see it is showing me the logged in, and the most important thing is it is showing me the administrative panel. So, when it shows me the administrative panel, we can understand that yes, it is it has logged in as administrator. Now, you have got the administrative privileges, you can do the administrative task. So, but again it is a suggestion from my end that until unless you do not require, there is no need to create many administrators in DSpace. So, if you go to people, you will be able to see the both the administrator. If you go to groups and if you go to administrator group, and you can see there are 2 administrators available. So, this is not a good practice to create many administrator in DSpace. I will tell rather you create 1 or maximum at the most you can create 2 administrator to be in a safer side. Although the command is available, whenever you need you can create it. And after the creation of the administrator, it is not a good practice to remove the administrators, okay, because many times after creating administrator and after logging in as a administrator, we do many things, we give many set many permissions, we can upload many documents, we can reject some documents, and suddenly if you if you try to delete the administrator, then it becomes a confusion for the DSpace engine to understand what is going on, because you are trying to remove that user who is the administrator, and that user has already given some privileges to some bit streams or items or communities, or it has created some communities or collections. So, that will create, or that will give you much more errors. So, it is better if you create one or two. So, you create one or two and use them. So, now we will come to this backup processes. So, before I go to the backup process, I would like to show you the DSpace news update, that is important part. If you go to the DSpace installation folder, that is the DSpace, in my case it is DSpace_inst. Inside that, as I have discussed in my previous sessions also, that there is a folder that is config. If you go inside the config folder, you will be able to see some files. Those are named as news site.html, news top.html, news hyphen XML UI.xml. So, what I will do, I will take this file. So, from the server I have taken it to my desktop. That is news XML UI, and let us try to open that in WordPad. Now, as soon as I have opened that file, you will see some text is written in XML format. So, here the head tag is actually storing showing as DSpace repository. So, let me make it as so, I have written it as central library. So, I wrote it as central library IIT Kharagpur in the head tag, and I save this information. Now, I will try to again put it back to the config folder and I overwrite it. Now, I will refresh it, I will log out. So, as soon as I try to refresh it, see, it is showing me central library IIT Kharagpur. So, this is the way to change and that the texts in DSpace. So, these are the news informations, you can put your own news informations here. I will demonstrate. So, this is our IIT Kharagpur's this is IIT Kharagpur repository. So, here we have made some changes here, we have tried to put one logo here, and then we have changed it to institutional digital repository. And so, let me make that change only. I am just copying it and I am putting that information here. And I take this whole thing. In the paragraph, I just change everything here and I save it, and I will transfer it to the same location, and let us see. Oh, there is some junk characters I have copied. So, actually this happened, and this is a really very good, because while copying and pasting I have pasted some junk characters, and it is the XML file is having some error. So, this is very good also. While showing this demonstration, see, it did not change the information here. Previously it had changed, but it did not change here. So, this is a very good thing, that whenever you face such type of problems, you open the XML file in the browser, because if there is some error, the browser will open it, but it will show error in the specific location where it is unable to read it, or where there are some junk values, or the XML file is not tagged properly, or it is opened, or it is not closed. Tags are opened and tags are not closed. So, many things can happen in XML program file. So, it is a better way, as I have shown it in my previous sessions also, that whenever you are working with a XML file, please open it in a browser, either it is a Firefox or it is a Chrome or any other browser, to check whether the XML file is edited properly or not. So, in my case also, I have just, while copying and pasting, I made some junk characters are being inputted there. So, I will again open it. This is the junk character. I will save it. So, there was a junk character here. I have saved it, and now again I will transfer it. See, as soon as I made the changes, it is showing me the information. So, now in this I will show one more thing. So, those who are acquainted with the HTML tagging, they can put some more HTML tag. Save the file, transfer it here. Similarly, you can put some more information and make it look better. See, I have added another paragraph tag and I am putting the informations here. Similarly, you can use other news site.html or newstop.html. These files you can use and you can edit it and you can put it into the DSpace repository back. Okay. So, now we will go through the backup processes, which is the very important part of a DSpace installation. So, when somebody installs a DSpace or install any kind of software, it is a issue that we should always keep a backup of the content, because if your DSpace crashes or if that software crashes, then how you are going to restore your document or valuable items. So, in case of DSpace also we are having 4 different types of backup and restore processes. So, here it shows I have made one pictorial diagram for it, that is backup processes. You can take a CSV export and import. So, you can create CSV file and again you can import it back to the DSpace. Already DSpace is having a option to export the data in CSV. So, you can select a specific community and you can export that information in CSV, but here there is a limitation. You cannot exceed a large volume, you should keep the CSV content small. So, if it is within 1000, then it is very good, because these type of files will take longer time to import and exporting. So, these options are only followed when you are having a very low amount of information. So, DSpace manual, if you see the DSpace manual, it has given you the way to write down the CSV file. So, the basic structure for it is only the you mentioned in the, you can use Excel, Microsoft Excel, which is a very good tool for creating a CSV file. So, you can create the headers with Dublin core field names, that dc.contributor.author or something, and then you keep the field and then you keep another dc.terminal. So, like that it has already given, DSpace manual has already given us a format. You follow the format to create the database of metadatabase and then you import that into the DSpace. Similarly, you are having another option, that is SIP and AIP. These are also command based import and export tool. DSpace provide us these 2 different command sets for exporting the information and importing the information. I will show you these 2 commands. These are very easy to give it, but these very minutely you have to give and take the backup. Next is it is a very good process that you can keep a physical backup of the whole content, that is backup your database, backup the DSpace database and copy the DSpace installation folder. Like for example, in my case the DSpace underscore inst is the installation folder. So, you can copy that installation folder and including the asset store. Generally the DSpace installation folder is contains the asset stores, but many times if the server is configured in such a way that we keep the asset store in another drive, then the asset store presents in separate drive and the rest of the installation folder is present in one place. So, if you are taking a physical backup of the content, then you should keep it in your mind that you should take the installation folder. You can take it in your hard disk, external hard disk, and you can put it in the network drive anywhere, but you should take the installation folders backup, which will also contain all the changes, all the necessary implementations, and you should take the backup. Do not forget to take the backup of the asset store. finally, one more process is used for a kind of backup will you can do the metadata harvesting, but this metadata harvesting is again done for various other purposes also. If you want to create a central repository, then also you can use this technique for creating another kind of repository which is being harvested from many other DSpaces. So, quickly I will go through the command, I will show you the command. So, it is as dspace underscore inst is my installation folder, and in that there is a bin, and I have already shown you the dspace command. So, dspace command again comes with a parameter, that is packager, and along with other AIP parameters. So, this command is very easy to give, because this E refers for the E person. So, how you are going to take the backup and who is going to take the backup, that information I have just mentioned in this place, that information you have to give, like administrative login, that is if I want to take the backup using the administrative login, that is samrat@library.itkgp.ac.in, that I have to mention, and I refers for the handle ID, that is the community and collection I am using, and then you give the path to archive it. So, that is the archival path, you give any path or you give the file name and then a zip. So, this will create the zip file for you, and similarly in another machine when you are giving this command. So, similarly you again give this command with same type of, you should have same type of administrative login ID, and this is the parent community ID, and this is the path of this file what you have taken a backup. For SIP, it is going to do the same type of things, but you do the collection wise backup here. You give the dspace command along with export. So, this export makes the collection as an exporting feature, and then you give the handler ID, path to the destination where you are going to take the export, and starting number of the folder. Similarly, for importing, you need the import command and give the administrative login and handle ID of the collection, and S is the path of the directory, and a map file is required for your SIP. So, I have just given these two commands, you can take a note of this and you can run in your system for taking AIP backup. So, I will run this backup command for displaying it to you. So, I am trying to take the backup of this handle ID, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, that is the default handle ID /5. Would you like to show the list? I will take it as yes. So, as soon as I have given yes, you see it is showing me created the package file, and it is showing me the workshop.zip, and it is showing me where it has created. So, I will try to show you how the backup is. See, inside IDR I have created a file, a folder, a file, that workshop.zip, and this is the backup. So, I will just show it, I will drag it here. This is the zip file what I am having. I have double clicked and opened it into a zip file, and you can see that yes, this is the PDF. See, this is the PDF what I have taken of which I have taken a backup, and I get that PDF. And all other metadata information I am getting it. If you want, you can double click and see the I am getting what I have entered as a author, which is the encoding, and what is the publisher, what is the title name. So, all these informations I am getting it as a backup. Similarly, you can run the same command in another machine for restoring the package. So, if I run this command also, I will see that another this same file is being uploaded into the disk space. So, if I import it in the same which is not a logical, but just to show you. So, I am having 4 contents which are recently added. So, it is trying to ingest, but is going through some exceptions for the packaging, because it is not a wise decision for the implementation of the in the same thing, but you can run this command and like this in a separate disk space. Finally, we are coming to the main topic for our OAI PMH, and it is Open Archive Initiative Protocol for Metadata Harvesting, and this protocol version 2 is of 2002, 6 and 14, which is release date, and you can get the details about this open initiative in this URL. So, what is it and how it is working, that we are going to discuss in this session. Now, Open Archive Initiative is the thing is that this is defined for repositories. So, why this protocol is needed for us, and what is the utility of it. Now, what happened that we are having many IDR throughout the globe, and many institutions, it is academic institutions or NGOs or World Bank also. So, they have implemented a digital repository in their organization, and they keep their documents up and they upload their documents in that repository for long term preservation. Now, suppose for example, one IDR wants is needing to harvest the metadata information of another IDR. That means that suppose for example, IIT Kharagpur is having and a repository of 4000 PhD theses, and another institute who is creating a repository of chemistry articles or chemistry based PhD thesis or chemistry data sets. So, what they need is they need the metadata information, chemistry metadata information from IIT Kharagpur repository. So, in that case, both these two different repositories need to talk to each other. So, for talking with each other, there is this OAI PMH protocol has been initiative has been started, and this protocol is used for metadata harvesting. So, one repository, whether it is a DSpace, whether it is a ePrint, and now the Greenstone, they are all OAI compliant and they can harvest each other's metadata information. Even as well as DSpace is able to harvest the PDF content also. So, it can be shown as, the model can be shown as, this is the resource and this is the item, and this item has got records in Dublin core or a MARC metadata or a spectrum metadata, anything metadata information is recorded in any one of these. So, this item has got a identifier, a unique identifier to identify this, and so a record can be identifier, the metadata format and the date stamp. So, I will give a demonstration for this using our IDR. So, if I enter this information IDR irtkgp.ac.in OAI request verb equals to identity, it shows me the OAI PMS data provider information. So, if I go to the sets, now see here I will in another page I will open my IDR. So, as soon as I have opened it, you can see here that I am having some topmost communities, that is download full text and PhD thesis of IIT Kharagpur, DSc thesis IIT Kharagpur and all those. So, similarly here also you can see that I am having all those top communities, download full text and all. So, if I go inside the PhD thesis records, if I go inside this, I will be able to see the different metadata information inside that. And then these metadata informations like the title, then creator, subject, all these informations are available here. So, this information can be harvested by any other DSpace. So, how it is working? So, there is a repository, it is OAI compliant, and there is another harvester, it may be a DSpace, it may be a ePrint, it may be a Greenstone, it can be any other OAI compliant repository. So, that can give a HTTP request to the repository, and in turn the repository will give the HTTP response, that is what I have shown right now, the set information in XML format. And there are 6 verbs, that is identify and then list metadata formats, list sets, identifiers, list records and get record. So, these verbs are used to fetch the metadata information from XML file. So, I can show you once again. So, these are the different verbs are available in metadata formats. What are the metadata formats I am having for my repository? That is, right now we are following the qualified Dublin code. So, using this we can fetch the information, or any other harvester can fetch the information from our DSpace. Similarly, I am having identifier and records and sets. This is another diagram to show it, that there is IIT Guwahati or IIT Delhi, IIT Kanpur or IIT Madras. As yesterday our librarians showed us a graphical image for the harvesting the information. So, these are different repositories I am having, and these are all the different repositories using different open source softwares. So, they become the data provider, and that data provider information comes to a central repository, and this we term it as a harvester, and the internet or other users can access this information. So, this makes the harvester as a central indexing which has indexed all the information from these 4 repositories. So, quickly I have as I have already told, there are 2 different parts of it. One is the data provider, which is going to provide the information, and one is the service provider, which provides the services information. So, quickly I will go through the steps in the DSpace. When you log in, after that you can go to a link, that is while uploading a content, it shows me content source. So, there you can set the external source as the content. So, there are 2 ways to upload a content into a collection. What is the standard DSpace